What is up, YouTube? It's Edition34, and after our brief break, I am starting things back off with the Edge, and our card of the day is from Primal Clash. It's a new card celebrating our new set, and this tech card you are probably already familiar with. It is called Rough Seas. It's a stadium, and once during each player's turn, that player has the option to heal 30 damage from each of their water and lightning Pokemon. So in some ways, we can recognize that this is kind of a high-risk, high-reward card, as this can end up helping certain opponents, because there are a number of water and lightning Pokemon right now that are kind of common. So you got to play it with a little bit of caution and a little bit of wisdom. But that said, it can also offer you some huge advantages depending on what you run. One of the most obvious combo cards, if not the most obvious, is Seismitoad EX. It just gives him so much more power with his Quaking Punch lockdown than he already had. Just because now he can be healing 30 off himself every turn, and you can even switch him to the bench or something, like for another Seismitoad or some other Pokemon in your deck, and in the meantime just be healing him back up to full. Of course, the problem with that is Seismitoad is a very common thing to see as well, and therefore your Rough Seas can make your life quite miserable too. So like I say, don't necessarily slap it down, wait, gauge your opponent, gauge the situation, and kind of go from there. But it occurs to me there are also a number of other Pokemon who can profit from this card quite a bit. Manectric, and especially Mega Manectric, that 210 HP is a little bit underwhelming, and we can certainly flesh it out, and Rough Seas could help accomplish that very thing. Another Pokemon who might appreciate it is Keldeo EX, a Pokemon who can be frequently seen in decks for his Rush In for Retreat combo with Floatstone. This could allow him to actually switch in, take a big hit, retreat out, and then slowly heal it off, sort of like a superpowered Cresselia EX. And obviously healing 30 a turn from him way better than the 10 you can get on Cresselia. So any deck that has the option to run Keldeo and maybe another Water or Lightning Pokemon might want to see it. And while a little less common, you could also think about combining it with Suicune, whose Safeguard is very nice, and sometimes your opponent's only methods for dealing with it can be by dealing relatively low amounts of damage. Their own safeguarders hitting it, for example, or things like Hypnotoxic Laser, slowly, incrementally dealing damage to it. Rough Seas could really reinforce Suicune's ability to stick around and go the distance. Another card that kind of grabbed my attention was a lot of the Plasma stuff, like Thundurus EX and Plasma QREM here, both benefit from it, obviously, and it gives them a lot more staying power as well. Not for anything necessarily specifically, but especially in the early game, Thundurus EX doesn't necessarily get one-shotted. This can help him kind of stick around and give him perhaps just a little bit of staying power against Donphan. Not a lot, though, as Donphan can be pretty problematic. But Plasma has another way of dealing with Donphan, and that is Articuno EX. A card that's actually seen some play recently, not a whole lot, but I think this card really has a lot of merit. His fighting resistance, his Blizzard attack is quite good for spread damage, of course, and then Frost Prison can be a surprisingly effective second attack despite that 4 energy wind-up because of things like Colress Machine and Thundurus EX. With Rough Seas, all three of these suddenly get that healing bonus and become a lot thicker as a result. Unless they're getting one-hit KO'd, you're adding 30, 60, 90 HP to them. It's really quite a bit. And one other card I had to mention, not because I necessarily think it's that competitive, but because I just think it's funny as heck and could lead to some kind of combo down the road, is Wailord EX. The Pokemon with the most HP so far at 250. While his attack and ability are kind of pointless for the most part, what distinguishes him is his ability to soak up damage, and then later on you can use AZ or Super Scoop Up to cards like that to just recover him back and reset all that damage. With Rough Seas, you could use him to stall even more effectively and deal even more, or rather take even more damage from an opponent. He could suck up well over 300 damage with relative ease, and that's pretty impressive for this guy. Not to mention, God forbid, if you had something like Cherrim on the bench to heal him even more. And let's also consider, any deck that runs Water and Lightning is going to appreciate this due to the prevalence of cards like Genesect because of his Megalo Cannon. More so, you have to think about cards like Landorus EX with his Hammerhead, and the Golbat and Crobat with their Sneaky and Surprise Bites. So this card can essentially just erase those. It makes them a lot less effective, because they kind of count on racking up damage slowly and setting themselves up for KOs, which of course Rough Seas denies. So Cards to think about when building your deck, as a number of states tournaments are coming up, and I don't think we've finished all the regionals as of right now. So, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more Pokemon content.